Marilyn Monroe. Marilyn Monroe, born Norma Jean Mortensen on June 1, 1926, in Los Angeles, California, became one of Hollywood's most famous and tragic stars. Raised in foster homes due to her mother's mental illness, she endured a difficult childhood before being discovered as a model in the 1940s. Her beauty and charisma led to a film career, and by the 1950s, she was a global icon. She starred in classics like Gentlemen Prefer Blondes, 1953, The 7-Year Itch, 1955, and Some Like It Hot, 1959. Marilyn's signature blonde bombshell image made her a sex symbol, but she struggled to be taken seriously as an actress. She later trained at the Actors Studio to refine her craft. Despite her success, Monroe's personal life was filled with heartbreak. She married 3 times, including to baseball legend Joe DiMaggio and playwright Arthur Miller, but all ended in divorce. She also faced mental health struggles, addiction, and pressures from Hollywood. Marilyn's alleged affairs with President John F. Kennedy and his brother Robert Kennedy added to her mystique. However, her life took a tragic turn on August 5, 1962, when she was found dead at 36 due to a drug overdose. Her death remains surrounded by conspiracy theories, with some believing foul play was involved. Even decades after her passing, Marilyn Monroe remains a symbol of beauty, fame, and tragedy. Her legacy endures through her films, photos, and the mystery surrounding her life and death. She is remembered not just for her glamour, but also for her struggles, making her an enduring legend in Hollywood history. George Reeves. George Reeves, born on January 5, 1914, in Woolstock, Iowa, became famous for portraying Superman in the 1950s TV series Adventures of Superman. Raised by his mother after his parents' separation, Reeves pursued acting and landed small roles in Hollywood, including a part in Gone with the Wind, 1939. His big break came in 1951, when he was cast as Superman. The show made him a household name, but it also typecast him, limiting his career opportunities. Despite this, Reeves was beloved by fans and became a real-life hero to many children. Off-screen, his life was complicated. He had a long-term affair with Toni Mannix, the wife of MGM executive Eddie Mannix, and later became engaged to socialite Leonore Lemon. His career frustrations and personal struggles weighed heavily on him. On June 16, 1959, Reeves was found dead in his home from a gunshot wound to the head. His death was ruled a suicide, but many suspect foul play. Theories suggest he was murdered due to his connections with Hollywood elites, or that his fiancée was involved. Despite the mystery, Reeves' legacy as the first iconic Superman endures. His portrayal remains legendary, and his tragic death only adds to the intrigue surrounding his life. Jean Seberg. Jean Seberg was born on November 13, 1938, in Marshalltown, Iowa. She rose to fame as a fresh-faced actress with striking beauty and talent. At just 18, she was cast as Joan of Arc in St. Joan, 1957, by director Otto Preminger, launching her career. However, it was her role in Breathless, 1960, a French new wave classic by Jean-Luc Godard, that made her an international star and a symbol of 1960s cinema. Seberg balanced a career in both Hollywood and Europe, starring in films like Lilith, 1964, and Paint Your Wagon, 1969. Beyond acting, she was passionate about social justice and became involved in civil rights movements, including supporting the Black Panther Party. This drew the attention of the FBI, which began monitoring her under its COINTELPRO program. The FBI spread false rumors about her, attempting to ruin her reputation and career. The intense scrutiny, combined with personal struggles, deeply affected her mental health. She suffered from depression, multiple failed relationships, and the tragic loss of her infant daughter in 1970. On August 30, 1979, Seberg was found dead in her car in Paris, having overdosed on barbiturates. While her death was ruled a suicide, many believe the FBI's harassment played a significant role in her downfall. Jean Seberg remains an iconic figure, not only for her contributions to cinema, but also as a tragic symbol of how political persecution and personal struggles can destroy even the brightest stars. Dorothy Dandridge. Dorothy Dandridge was born on November 9, 1922, in Cleveland, Ohio. She started performing as a child with her sister in a musical act called The Wonder Children, later renamed the Dandridge Sisters. She gained recognition in Hollywood in the 1940s, appearing in small film roles before achieving stardom. Her breakthrough came in Carmen Jones, 1954, where she played the lead role and became the first black woman nominated for an Academy Award for Best Actress. This was a groundbreaking moment in Hollywood, but despite her talent, she struggled to find roles that matched her abilities. While admired for her beauty and charisma, Dandridge faced racism in the industry. She was often typecast or denied opportunities that were readily available to white actresses. Her personal life was also filled with hardship. Her marriage to Harold Nicholas ended in divorce, and she faced financial troubles while raising a daughter with special needs. In her later years, Dandridge suffered from depression, financial instability, and health issues. On September 8, 1965, she was found dead in her Los Angeles apartment from an overdose of antidepressants. She was only 42 years old. Dorothy Dandridge paved the way for future black actresses in Hollywood, breaking barriers despite facing intense discrimination. Her legacy remains as a symbol of resilience, talent, and the challenges faced by black performers in an unjust industry. Lupe Velez. Lupe Velez was born Maria Guadalupe Villalobos Velez on July 18, 1908, in San Luis Potosí, Mexico. She moved to Hollywood in the late 1920s, where her vibrant personality and exotic beauty made her an instant star. Velez transitioned from silent films to talkies with ease, thanks to her strong comedic timing and thick Mexican accent, which became her signature. She became famous for roles in films like The Gaucho, 1927, alongside Douglas Fairbanks, and The Wolf Song, 1929, with Gary Cooper, with whom she had a passionate but turbulent affair. In the 1930s, she starred in the popular Mexican Spitfire comedy series, cementing her status as Hollywood's first Latina superstar. Velez was known for her bold personality, fiery temper, and high-profile romances, including a marriage to actor Johnny Weissmuller, famous for playing Tarzan. However, her relationships were often tumultuous, and she struggled with career setbacks as Hollywood's interest in Latin stars waned. In 1944, she became pregnant by actor Harold Marish, but he refused to marry her. Heartbroken and facing societal pressure, she took a fatal overdose of sleeping pills on December 13, 1944. She was found the next day in her Los Angeles home at the age of 36. Lupe Velez's legacy remains one of passion, talent, and tragedy. As one of the first major Mexican actresses in Hollywood, she paved the way for future Latina stars, though her untimely death overshadowed her groundbreaking achievements. Peg Entwistle. Peg Entwistle was born Millicent Lillian Entwistle on February 5, 1908, in Wales, UK. She moved to the United States as a child and pursued an acting career. Peg found early success on Broadway, performing alongside legends like Humphrey Bogart. Her talent was undeniable, but like many aspiring stars, she struggled to transition to Hollywood. In 1932, she landed her first and only film role in 13 Women, but her scenes were heavily cut, leaving her devastated. The Great Depression had already made acting jobs scarce, and her career stalled. Battling rejection and financial hardship, she became deeply depressed. On the night of September 16, 1932, at just 24 years old, Peg climbed the steep hills of Hollywoodland, scaled the 50-foot H of the Hollywood sign, and jumped to her death. Her suicide note reflected her hopelessness. I am afraid I am a coward. I am sorry for everything. If I had done this long ago, it would have saved a lot of pain. Tragically, after her death, a letter arrived offering her a major film role. Peg Entwistle remains a haunting symbol of broken dreams in Hollywood, and her story continues to fascinate those drawn to the dark side of fame. Some even claim her ghost lingers near the iconic Hollywood sign, a reminder of her unfulfilled potential. George Sanders. George Sanders was born on July 3, 1906, in St. Petersburg, Russia, to British parents. His family fled to England during the Russian Revolution, where he was educated before entering the world of acting. With his deep voice, aristocratic charm, and biting wit, Sanders quickly became one of Hollywood's most distinctive character actors. He often played cynical, sophisticated villains or world-weary gentlemen in films like Rebecca, 1940, The Picture of Dorian Gray, 1945, and All About Eve, 1950, for which he won an Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor. His portrayal of smooth, yet often sinister characters made him unforgettable. Off-screen, Sanders was as sharp-tongued as his on-screen roles. He had a tumultuous personal life, marrying 4 times, including to 2 famous actresses, Zsa Zsa Gabor, and Benita Hume. Despite his success, he grew increasingly disillusioned with life. He retired from acting in the late 1960s, suffering from poor health and depression. On April 25, 1972, Sanders took his own life in a hotel room in Spain, leaving behind a note that read, "Dear world, I am leaving because I am bored. I feel I have lived long enough." His death was as enigmatic and dramatic as the roles he played. George Sanders remains a symbol of old Hollywood's wit and sophistication, known for his unforgettable voice, intelligence, and darkly humorous approach to life and death. Carole Landis. Carole Landis was born Frances Lillian Mary Ridst on January 1, 1919, in Fairchild, Wisconsin. Determined to become a star, she moved to Hollywood in the late 1930s, working as a waitress before landing small film roles. With her striking beauty and charisma, she quickly gained attention and was dubbed the Ping Girl, short for purring. Her breakthrough came in 1 million BC 1940, making her a popular pin-up girl during World War II. Beyond her glamorous image, she was known for her patriotism, traveling extensively to entertain troops overseas alongside stars like Bob Hope. She worked tirelessly for the war effort, earning admiration from soldiers. Despite her success, Landis struggled with Hollywood's treatment of women. She was often cast in secondary roles, overshadowed by bigger stars. Her personal life was equally turbulent. She married 4 times, but none of the relationships lasted. In the 1940s, she fell deeply in love with actor Rex Harrison, who was married. When he refused to leave his wife, a heartbroken Landis took her own life on July 5, 1948, at just 29 years old. She was found in her home, having overdosed on sleeping pills, with a note expressing despair. Carole Landis' story remains one of talent, beauty, and heartbreak. Though she never achieved the superstardom she craved, she left behind a legacy as a dedicated entertainer and a tragic symbol of Hollywood's dark side. Charles Boyer. Charles Boyer was born on August 28, 1899 in Figeac, France. A shy and intellectual child, he discovered acting while studying at the Sorbonne and quickly rose to fame in French theater. With his deep voice, sophisticated charm, and smooth French accent, he soon became one of Hollywood's most beloved romantic leading men. During the 1930s and 1940s, Boyer starred in films such as Algiers, 1938, which popularized the famous line, "Come with me to the Casbah," Gaslight, 1944, and Love Affair, 1939, later remade as An Affair to Remember. He played brooding, mysterious lovers and was adored by audiences worldwide. Unlike many Hollywood stars, Boyer had a stable and loving personal life. He married British actress Pat Patterson in 1934, and they remained together for over 40 years. However, tragedy struck in 1965 when their only son, Michael, died by suicide at age 21. Boyer was devastated but continued acting, appearing in later films like Barefoot in the Park, 1967. 2 days after his wife's death from cancer in 1978, Boyer, overwhelmed by grief, took his own life by overdosing on barbiturates. He was 79 years old. Despite his tragic end, Charles Boyer remains a timeless icon of romance and sophistication, his deep voice and elegant presence forever etched in cinematic history. Ross Alexander. Ross Alexander was born Alexander Ross Smith on July 27, 1907, in Brooklyn, New York. A talented and charming young man, he pursued acting in the theater before making his way to Hollywood in the early 1930s. With his boyish good looks and quick wit, he was seen as a rising star and was signed by Warner Brothers. He found success in supporting roles, often playing charismatic, light-hearted characters. Some of his notable films include Captain Blood, 1935, alongside Errol Flynn, and A Midsummer Night's Dream, 1935. Warner Brothers initially saw him as a potential rival to James Cagney, but his career never quite reached the same heights. Despite his on-screen charm, Alexander faced personal struggles. He was rumored to be bisexual at a time when Hollywood had little tolerance for anything outside of the norm. His first wife, actress Aletta Friel, died by suicide in 1935, further affecting his emotional state. His second marriage to actress Anne Nagel was troubled, and his career began to decline as Warner Brothers lost interest in him. On January 2, 1937, at just 29 years old, Ross Alexander died by suicide, shooting himself at his home. His untimely death shocked Hollywood, and he became another tragic figure of the industry's golden era. Though largely forgotten today, Ross Alexander's brief but memorable Hollywood career remains a testament to his talent and the struggles many stars faced behind the glamour.